Invasive plants harm the wider ecosystems by outcompeting native plants and reducing food for wildlife. Invasive plants also increase the effects of harmful pests, and while many have been banned largely at the state level, some invasive plants are still widely used in landscaping. So the scientific name for Japanese barberry is Barberus thunbergii, and it belongs in the family Berberaceae. Japanese barberry was introduced to York County through the ornamental trade in the 1875. Now, it was brought up again because of its vivid color in the fall.
A lot of them get transported here by ships or overseas, maybe by plane, but either way they come from an area that they're used to being in and they're transported to an area that they should not be.
The leaves they're small and they're round, and there's a lot of them on a stem. They are quite cute.
In the fall, they'll change from green to like a brilliant red color. So very bright, very vibrant. The berries are also very vibrant. The berries themselves, bright red, round, very easy to spot as well.
The berries is also part of the reason why this plant is so invasive, is that that's the main mechanism through which they spread.
It may not seem like a big deal to have a plant in an area where it's not supposed to be, but again, it's eventually, because they're so resistant to pests and weather, other elements that could affect bees, they can really mess with the other plants that are supposed to be like the native plants.
Barberry, one of the things that it does, and part of the reason why it is threatening, is that it does disrupt native ecosystems, especially in the wild. The dense thickets that it forms will choke out native growth and make it harder for those plants, and it'll actually change the soil around it.
The soil, the contents, the pH, anything that makes these native plants thrive, it can take those elements away for themselves, and that's really what harms the native plants.
Something that's more of a threat to humans and human health is that barberry has been shown to actually increase tick populations within forests it infests, so that obviously can lead to higher rates of things like Lyme disease. So the best and quite frankly simplest way to deal with these species, and specifically Japanese barberry, is to just rip it out. It's the easiest way and the most effective to remove the species, and moving forward, just plant native.
As long as they're on the smaller side, it should be easy enough to uproot them. Be careful again with the thorns. There's been some people who unfortunately grabbed them by the stem, and that's pretty painful, so don't do that. Also, if you see these plants, barberry, in someone else's property, I would get permission first. I wouldn't just go around uprooting just any plants, but yeah, that's the quickest way, is to uproot. Again, be careful not to let the berries fall. If you uproot them, that of course will spread barberry. As of 2021, it was put on a noxious weed list, which of course in turn implements a ban. So it is, straight answer is no, it is not legal, it's now banned. However, there are some variations. If made infertile, they are allowed to be sold.
Some native alternatives to Japanese barberry is beautyberry, or as it's known in the scientific name, Calocarpa americana, within the family Laminaceae.